Do you understand the value of growing organically on Instagram? Do you want to create a true audience of raving fans who look forward to your content, support your projects, and come to your concerts? Well, as promised in this video, today's video is all about hashtags, why we need them, how to find them, and the best practices for using them to help you grow organically on Instagram. Hi, I'm Fiona Flyte and welcome to my channel, where on Thursdays I share tips and tools for developing your profitable singing career, and on Sundays I share my own singing to inspire you to share yours. Okay, so you've heard about hashtags and you may agree they're important, but how exactly do they help you grow, and how can you as a singer really up your hashtag game? Hashtags help you to grow organically because they're one of the favorite ways Instagram users use to find new accounts that interest them. For example, I'll often search opera singer, musical theater, and singer-songwriter to find new people in my niche to engage with. Do you already know your niche? And is it specific? Having real clarity in how you describe your niche is extremely helpful in attracting your ideal fans. And we'll get into how to define and refine your exact music niche in a future video. And hashtags are one of the reasons we need to know our niche, because country rock is definitely going to attract a different audience than folk rock or classic country. So, by using a combination of the right hashtags and an optimal number of hashtags, you get your posts in front of more people. Keep in mind, Instagram is not an exact science, but definitely check out this video where I talk about how many hashtags I typically use. Just as important as how many hashtags to use is which hashtags to use. And here's where people often get confused. Some Instagram experts will advise you to use the hashtags that make the most sense with the particular image or caption. So for example, with this photo, I might have chosen hashtag strawberries or hashtag natural landscape or hashtag blue chairs or blue beach chairs, but those would not have attracted the audience that's actually specifically in my niche. So instead of that, if you look at the hashtags I actually used, I was going with a combination of musical theater and singing and a little bit of music business tossed in. But take another look at this hashtag group and what don't you see? Well, you do see Broadway Bound, but you don't see Broadway. You do see Singer Spotlight, but you don't see Singer. So let's talk about why I didn't use Broadway or Singer when they seem like the most obvious choices. And at the same time, let's look at how to find your own hashtags. Okay, so here we are on Instagram and I typed singer into the search pane and I highlighted tags. And as you can see, Singer has 40.9 million posts and Singers has 4.9 million posts. And so the point is that it's just super easy to get lost there. This one, for example, at the top, this person has got 153,000 followers. So it's hard to compete against so much bigger accounts. And those are the ones that are going to show up at the top. And in recent, the part of the issue is although you don't need as big of an account, 13 seconds ago, 21 seconds ago, 25 seconds ago, 28 seconds ago, 31 seconds ago. So my point is that you're not going to stay there. And so even if we scroll down a little bit, let's see when this one was. This was just 2 minutes ago. So if you post under Singer, even in the recent, your post is not going to be found. And the whole point of using hashtags is to be found. Singer-songwriter is still too big at 5.9. Singers of Instagram at 640,000, that gets a little bit closer. So if we go to recents on there, let's see. So most recent was 38 seconds ago, so that's recent. And if we scroll down a little bit, then this one was an hour ago. So your post has the likelihood of showing up obviously longer than if it was one of these ones that over several million. But then let's say we get into singer-songwriters. So all we have to do is add an S and from singer-songwriter, and we drop from 5.9 million to 296,000. And that then is going to make it much more likely that you're going to show up under recent. So the most recent was 9 minutes ago. And then if we just scroll down a little bit, let's see. This one was 3 hours ago. So you're going to show up for, several hours at that big of a sized hashtag, this is 4 hours ago. So it's still large, but it's not in that multi-million sort of category. So then at the same time, while we're here, let's talk about how you find your hashtags. So you want to niche down. And so you started off with Singer because that's great. And that's a great place to start. And then they gave us a whole long list here with all of the hashtags. So Singer Spotlight is a good one at 43.8. Under recent, we've got 23 minutes ago, and then just scrolling a tiny bit, we've got 4 hours ago. So you're going to show up for much longer under recent on Singer Spotlight. But how else can you go down the rabbit hole of finding good hashtags? So let's say you're in the singer-songwriter niche, singer-songwriter. And let's start with that really big one. So we click on that, and then if you see here related, we have other options that they're saying, well, what do you think about music blog? Does that relate to you? And then we've got only 583,000. Or songwriter, well, that gets us big again. And then how about original music? That's still big. Oh, but look what we could do. Here we can then have, this is going down the rabbit hole. What if alt country is more your niche? Now we're niching down, we're getting smaller at 100,000, but that's still plenty big. It means lots of people are searching for it. Acoustic rock, 67, smaller still, but still big. But what you don't want to get so small that no one's searching for you. So let's see what something super small might be. For example, if you're in the opera niche, contralto, that's not too small at 26.4, but contraltos at 1,000 is too small. People are just not really searching for it, so you're not really going to get seen. So this one was on July 3rd, so no one's there looking. But contralto at 26 is still respectable. So let's touch base about your niche again for just a moment before we move on. In the context of this video, I'm talking about niche very broadly, as in country singer versus rock star, or opera singer as opposed to pop singer. But in a future video, I'll get way more into how to define and refine your specific music niche within a larger genre, like rock, country, musical theater, and classical. Because the more specific you get, the easier it becomes to attract your audience. And in the meantime, if you're curious about niches, you can also watch these videos for information on niching down in general. So back to hashtags. I've just made it clear that the number of people using a particular hashtag does make a difference. So what are the best practices for which size hashtags to use? And you may also be wondering how to save and track your hashtags, as well as whether or not you can reuse hashtags. To help answer these questions, I've made you a free PDF download, which you can find in the description, with a chart of optimal number and size of hashtags, as well as 3 lists of optimized hashtag groups for 3 different groups of singers. Group 1, musical theater, Group 2, opera singer, and Group 3, singer-songwriter. Go ahead and try out the one that is closest to your own musical niche, but keep in mind that creating your own hashtag groups will be optimal and that experimentation is required. And definitely do your own research because these numbers obviously change over time. Okay, so let's look at these general guidelines. So let's take a closer look at these hashtag groups that I put together. You can see over here is the optimal numbers. We've got 1 at the 1 million, 2 at the 500,000, 8 at the 100,000 and up, 6 at the 50,000 and up, 6 at the 20,000 and up, and 2 at the 10K and up. And so here we've got group 1, musical theater, and we've got the hashtags, and we've got the size of each of these individual hashtags. And then over here, I have included this, but spread out so that you've got, exactly the right number for each one. And there are so many choices that this is just one like really random sampling of appropriate musical theater hashtags, starting with Broadway, which was huge, and then of course Hamilton and Lin-Manuel. But you don't need to go with Hamilton. You can obviously go with anything else that's 500 or above. The idea here is that anyone that's interested in Hamilton is interested in musical theater in general. Then dress rehearsal, that's pretty high. Dropping to the bottom, Rodgers and Hammerstein, one of my own favorites, not as popular as Hamilton, obviously. And so that's it's a good example. Over here, opera niche, and same thing. So we just start with the very general opera, and that's our 1 million and up. Soprano, still very high, over 500K. And, then we can get more specific, like La Scala. Someone who's interested in La Scala is interested in opera in general. Someone who's interested in countertenor, being a countertenor or in hearing countertenors, again, interested in opera. But you can get so much more specific to your exact niche within opera. So let's say you're a lyric soprano. Well, maybe you're listing lyric soprano roles on here, like you have Mimi as one of your, or La Boheme as one of your hashtags. And then we've got singer-songwriter, and same thing. So we've got the hashtags, we've got the sizes, and we've got the categories of size. And we start with singer-songwriter, which is huge. And at the bottom, we have music gig, which is much smaller, and then everything in between. And again, you can get much more specific with your niche within the singer-songwriter genre. And we'll cover the music niche in another video, as I mentioned before. So I hope this is super helpful, and you will be able to download a version of this that you can then copy and use as a template or use as example for yourself for the future. The larger 500,000 and above hashtags will increase your views and likes because so many people are searching for them, even if you don't show up in recent for very long. But keep in mind that using even just 3 large hashtags will attract a fair number of follow-unfollowers along with the extra likes. What I mean is that there are a number of accounts that follow these large hashtags and then use third-party apps to follow and then unfollow other accounts that use these hashtags. I'm actually going to cover this practice of follow-unfollowing in my next Instagram video. So you'll notice that the meat of this chart is all above 20,000 and below 500,000, because anything that is below 20,000 is basically not being searched, and anything over 500,000 is probably going to get you a fair amount of spam. You'll also notice that the total number of hashtags, as I mentioned in this video, adds up to 27, which is just a few short of the 30 maximum set by Instagram. But feel free to use less or more. Just like life, Instagram and social media are all about experimentation and trusting your own instincts. So go ahead and download in the description below my list of hashtag groups, and then use these groups as examples while you create an additional 3 to 5 groups of your own. Optimally, you'll be rotating your hashtag groups between your posts so that the Instagram algorithm doesn't think you're overusing any particular hashtag and thus reducing your reach because it labels you as spam. So in this video, we talked a lot about best practices for finding and using hashtags. And in my next video, I'll get into the other main strategies I'm using right now to grow my account to 1,000 followers. If you found this video useful, please go ahead and like it, subscribe to my channel, and let me know in the comments below what other topics you'd like me to cover to help you further your singing career. If you've watched to the end of this video, it probably means you're interested in Instagram growth. So definitely check out my last 2 videos about Instagram, including the biggest mistakes I see singers and actors making while engaging with the platform. And as always, go out into the world and let your light shine. You deserve to be heard, and the world deserves to hear you.